Hey Scorpio, Scorpio rising. Let's talk about the astrology for May 2025. So this is a very Scorpio month because we got Pluto, your ruler, going retrograde. We have a full moon in Scorpio. So you already know what's up. Now, listen, the full moon in Scorpio is a little close to my heart because I actually have the moon in Scorpio. So yeah, excited to talk about that with you. But first, let's kick off with what's happening at the beginning of the month, May the 4th. Pluto going retrograde. Okay, so Pluto is your ruler, so whenever it changes signs or it's making an aspect with another planet or it's going retrograde, you feel it the most. And right now, Pluto is in Aquarius, meaning it's impacting home, family life, roots, ancestry. I mean, we can get esoteric with it. This is like past lives, karma. You can get really esoteric and spiritual with it as well. So with Pluto being in Aquarius, it's a lot about breaking free. It's about independence and freedom. And it's a lot about really working through and navigating through the karma that has been kind of like repeating again and again and again. So there could be a lot going on for especially early Scorpios, or even if you have any other fixed planets, like I'm talking 0 to 4 degrees, you may be impacted the most by Pluto, and especially Pluto retrograde, because Pluto will be in retrograde until October the 13th, and then it will go direct at 1 degrees of Aquarius. So a lot of back and forth regarding home. And, you know, the thing with this is it's going to be happening like every year, okay? Pluto retrograde happens every year. It's just a normal cycle of life. So it impacts everyone at different stages. It doesn't mean that everyone that has Scorpio rising, or is a Scorpio dominant, that this is going to impact them at the same time. Not really. It's going to impact you all at different stages because it's a very slow moving planet. And right now it's really only impacting those that have really early Pluto energy, Aquarius energy, Leo energy, Scorpio energy, Taurus energy. It's not impacting everyone at the same time. However, those that it is impacting, there's, like I said, a lot of karmic situations coming up at home and family and personal relationships. So there could be like a deep focus here, going into the unconscious, anything that is buried, the underworld, really getting into the nitty-gritty of things, and you know, really coming to terms with some things, coming to some profound realizations and transforming things that are just not serving you anymore in this area of life. So yeah, a lot of shadow work with Pluto retrograde in the 4th house. You know, the 4th house is not just home, family, it's structure, it's stability, it's security, it's safety. It's where you go to retreat, you know, it's where you go to heal, rejuvenate. So it's a very important area of life. May the 10th, Mercury enters Taurus. So Mercury entering Taurus means it's entering your 7th house, your opposite sign. Mercury in Taurus is very calm, cool, and collective. When it's in the 7th house, you know, there could be some harmonious conversations occurring with other people, really connecting, whether it's through connecting mentally with, you know, through communication or having heart-to-heart conversations. It's really going to be profound in the 7th house, especially regarding relationships and other people. Something to watch out for is as soon as Mercury enters Taurus, it will be triggering Pluto and Mars, which are in an opposition, and that may be a little triggering, or, you know, you can get into ego battles or power struggles or say things that you... I'm not going to say you'll regret later, because a Scorpio would turn around and say, I don't regret it. But, you know, you can be under the influence of these energies where you say something that won't really solve anything, won't support you in anything. It's just something that where you're retaliating and getting into confrontation that really is just chaotic. That's something to be mindful of. Other than that, Mercury in Taurus in the 7th house, this is an energy that really supports communicating and bonding and connecting. Let's move on to May the 12th, where we have the full moon in Scorpio at 22 degrees. So take a look at your chart. If you have Scorpio energy at 22 degrees or very close by, this will be very profound for you. So the full moon in Scorpio. The sun will be in Taurus, conjunct Uranus in the 7th house, and the moon will be in the 1st house. Interestingly enough, the full moon will be in a conjunction with Juno. Juno is known as a goddess of commitment and marriage. So there could be some deep, intense relationship stuff that comes up. Themes regarding emotional safety, emotional security, commitment, love, loyalty, devotion. Jealousy is one of the themes associated with Juno and even the Scorpio energy when we're looking at it from the shadow aspect. So there could be some really strong, intense emotions that come out. Now, this does provide an opportunity to come into awareness, come into realization, and move into healing and transformation. So a lot of emotions coming up at this time, a very emotional time, a very intense, sensitive time, a very intuitive, like the psychic energy is so strong. There could be a lot of dramatic shifts, changes, a lot of unpredictability occurring, especially regarding sense of self, identity, the path that you're on, the direction you're taking in life, and also when it comes to relationships and other people and karma and balancing out the scales. That's going to be very profound with this full moon in Scorpio. So yeah, a lot of room for shadow work, a lot of room to move forward in life, but you first got to address the shadows. You got to address what's not serving you, and relationships, you got to address what is buried deep within that needs to be released and acknowledged and needs to move forward and transcend. So very deep spiritually healing time regarding yourself and other people, and how relationships play a role in your life and in the life path you're on, the life direction you're on. That's going to be very profound. Now let's get into Saturn, because on May the 24th, Saturn enters Aries for a brief moment. It will go back into retrograde, so this is going to give us a sneak peek and a taste of what we can expect. So Saturn moving into Aries means it's moving into your 6th house, joining Neptune. The 6th house rules over work. It rules over colleagues, health, wellness, habits, your lifestyle. Okay, so this is where you can be reminded, or you come to realizations of duty, where you need to be more committed, take more responsibility, take accountability, where you have limitations and where you feel restricted. There can be like a block here. With the Aries energy, it wants to be set free. It wants to do its thing. It's super independent, but it's kind of contained. It's kind of on a leash with Saturn. And Saturn wants it to really kind of slow down and take things more seriously and really evolve and develop into maturity. So there's a lot of lessons and a lot of karma that needs to be balanced with Saturn. And for you, it's going to be in your 6th house. Now, this is going to be even more strong when we have the new moon in Gemini, which I'm going to get into. So May the 20th, the sun enters Gemini, and the Gemini energy for you falls into your 8th house. When I said you're having a very Scorpio month, you are having a very Scorpio month. So the sun will be in Gemini in your 8th house. May the 25th, Mercury enters Gemini. May the 26th, we have a new moon in Gemini, all in the 8th house, and also Jupiter's here. So this is a Scorpio area of life. So we're looking at the mundane aspect of it, where we're looking at the more resourceful, like shared finances, shared resources aspect of it. We're looking at taking relationships to the next level, a deeper level. We're looking at intimacy. We're looking at the more esoteric stuff. We're looking at mysticism, magic, spirituality, deep spiritual transformation. So this area of life is not to play with. So there's a lot of activity here, a lot of energy. So again, emphasizing on you're having a very Scorpio month, a very Plutonian month, a very 8th house month. You could be dealing with a lot of things coming through for you, a lot of activity, a lot of energy. This could really heighten your awareness, intuition, psychic energy. This could really help you expand when it comes to the 8th house matters, especially when we're looking at spirituality and mysticism. There could be just a lot of energy here, even with relationships, like getting even more deeper into relationships. There could be a new opportunity that presents itself with the new moon in Gemini, a new cycle that begins in this 8th house for you. Okay, so a very, very profound time, a rebirth. Now, the thing about this new moon in Gemini, it's happening at 6 degrees, by the way. So take a look at your chart if you have any Gemini energy at 6 degrees. Saturn and Neptune will be in a conjunction, and this is impacting your 6th house. So this is about the false layers kind of peeling off or dissolving, shattering those rose-tinted glasses, realizing what you've been romanticizing, where you've been escaping, any illusions. That's all going to be peeled and stripped off. Now, that's normal for you because you're somebody who looks at the raw truth. You don't want to romanticize everything. You want to look at it from the truth, the highest truth. However, we're still all influenced by these energies. And in this point, at this point in time, with Neptune and Saturn being in the sixth house, it's really going to peel off the layers of all that the sixth house is about. So we're looking at work, we're looking at the structure of your life, habits, daily routine, lifestyle, health and wellness, even being of service to others. Like this area of life is going to become very serious, and you're going to come to some really strong realizations. And this area of life is really going to push you to become the more wiser, version of yourself, the most mature version of yourself, where there may be a lot of responsibilities and maybe a lot of commitment that is required, but it's going to push you to really become the best version of yourself. And this energy is going to be a little more heightened during this new moon in Gemini. So Scorpio rising, wishing you all the best. Happy Scorpio full moon, and may this month work out in your favor, and I will see you very soon.